Hi. Okay, I'm making this video because I had a conversation recently and I felt that the conversation was quite an important one, and I really hope that everybody will listen right to the end of this, because I think the most important part of this message comes at the end. And in this conversation I had with my friend recently, who has experienced many times, he's seen UFO. Some of the things that he has seen would be unforgettable experiences. These things that he shared with me are quite bizarre and for many probably quite unbelievable. And I've spoken in many of my previous videos on the guru's experience, which creates an embedded knowing of something which many of us have not witnessed and experienced, and which brings a greater knowing to them, which might bring ridicule from others. Many various people are blessed to have the ability to see what they are gifted to be able to see. And whilst my experiences, which might be seen as odd to those who have not had such experiences, I can understand how it is for those who have witnessed such strange things in their lives, and also get ridiculed by others because of them. My experiences have been more of a spiritual nature, and I think what we're given is what's right for us at that time in our journey. My friend tells me it's up to them, guys, as to what he sees and not him. And I think what he means by that is the aliens and those things he experiences. I've seen orbs in my house, and I've touched these things and they've stopped moving when they've touched, and I've even had to check to see if I'm dreaming or half asleep or whatever, but they're real, and these things were across my lap and I wasn't dreaming at all, so for me they were very real. At Halloween it's always a time for more intense energy, I found, and I would encourage people to set up their crystal grids to see what happens during this time. Certainly this time of the year, and more November time, when my grandmother passed away, I've always had a very strong feeling of her presence during that time. And it amazes me how many people carry cameras and phones around, yet when they have these experiences, somehow these cameras suddenly go missing, or they get lost or broken. Last night my friend showed me a photo of a crop circle, and he mentioned some names as a team of people that he knows completed this particular circle and depiction. As he said, they made a mistake in the binary disc within the crop circle itself, but as he said those words, I then began typing what came to me and offered this to him. My words went as follows: when I focus upon it, what I'm getting is this: without the code it loses something precious, and the code is within us, not out there on the field. What I'm listening to or feeling so that I type these words is a gift that I am giving through me to you. It's about letting it flow and making the connection so it can make sense to others, and this is our service to the world, to give what we are given. We become the wisdom through the offer of the gift. I certainly can identify with this myself. Ultimately, it makes me what I am, or what others perceive me to be. And this is the enormous truth. This gift is in everything, and it comes in different forms. It flows through everything, including those men with their message drawn in the field, where even the error of the coding is the message. Sometimes the image is something that we don't wish to understand or believe in, and so we miss the gift in ourselves and in others. At all times we are projecting our presence outwards, and it is the giver of the gift to us that is wishing to be understood and heard through us. It is also us who take the ridicule. But if we believe in ourselves enough, we, as the Creator, create it into the world. Everything we speak and every action we take is a creative gift, which comes from the projection that comes from the other. Whatever their name may be, I guess religious people might call it God. The gift of art has flowed through us, or them, and is there so that we can see and make perfect sense of it. It may not make sense to some. Somehow my friend seemed to make sense of what I was saying. His words were as follows: well, it certainly is art. And where that art comes from and why, I just don't know. So does this mean that what one person calls God, I can say an atom vibrating, causing energy, and therefore life? God is what we choose it to be, in other words. And yes, he got it. I went on to say that the image we present out there is a projection from which comes our evolved self, and this encoding is a part of the process, and it is encoded within us. Possibly this image is the image of what someone might be wanting for us to perceive as God, and we might accept this only because it is a higher entity, and I'm sure there is even higher. It's just another dimension, and those in that dimension would want us to know them as God and have greater power, and this is what our governments are afraid of, because this means that they will lose their power, and this is where the power struggle begins, and where our governments want something from these beings, yet they don't want to give something of themselves to get it. My friend then stated that the alien is just another being like ourselves, nothing more advanced with tech maybe, but backwards in expressions, like the things we're discussing, God, or maybe, for some, that might be a loaded concept. A creature from another dimension wants us to think itself as God, but that's not good. My understanding of God is all the positive energy in the universe. And yes, this is true. They are backwards because they have experienced a fast movement forward in advancement, rather than through slow evolution as we have. And so they lose empathy. And in this, they also would like to gain control. And as they have what we perceive as higher intelligence because of their technology, we will mistakenly label themselves better, greater. And we will want to be more like them than we are ourselves. But what we are is beautiful, and they won't even need to have what they have lost: empathy, care, love, feeling and emotions. And if we were stupid enough to lack self-belief in the beauty of our human nature and loving, caring expressions and buy into the technology as being greater, we could lose so much about what we are. So many are busy holding on to the true beauty of themselves here, because that is true power. We haven't realised why, but this is why the field projections and depictions are misleading us. This is why they come. They realise they've lost something, and we still have it. But we all have potential too, in some way. The best thing we could all do with losing, especially our governments, is ego. Our problem is unbeknown to them, because our governments, who are stupid and see technology as a fast advancement as something we need, and empathy, love, care as something we humans need less of, they give away our power. In fact, they're taking our power from us in order to try and advance us in ways which are not good for the world or ourselves. This is why they do things like take our children and cause so much emotional pain, until we have to put into place mechanisms which cause us not to want to have to feel. And if we buy into this and believe that being unfeeling is better for us than feeling because feeling hurts, we will begin to lose this natural loving state of being within ourselves. And this is happening because of what they're doing, as they want control of us and they want control of our children. Hopefully, if people like me have taught our children well enough that love is our true power, they will override all of this. My children are strong, they are love. I hope they will come back to me intact, knowing that feeling is not wrong. And the world governments are doing, what the world governments are doing is criminal and stupid. And my friend rightly said they never stop to smell a pine forest or pick a snail out of the road. It would never occur to them in that way. I even feel sorry for them. There's nothing like making a bunch of ducklings happy with some dry bread. And as I'm fighting for my children, I realise that you can't appeal to those who have already been brainwashed for the love of money over the love of our children. It is that a mother's love is the strongest bond, and we become weakened when we break this down in us all. This government doesn't have a clue what it's doing when it does this to us all. In their own bid for power over us and the lies they tell us in order to cause us to give our power away to them, letting them do everything for us, we the human race are weakening when we follow the loveless, and when we become angry at the way in which they do this, we also love less. And we do this thinking that these people are powerful, helping us to gain advancement on this planet. We don't need this kind of advancement, which includes giving our power away, and we have to stop letting our governments harm others, whilst turning a blind eye, and whilst slowly draining away our empathy, love, and will to give a damn. Whilst eventually pain passes, it leaves us numb, just like the ozone layer of the planet. And more it is depleted, the weaker the planet is. It can't be got back. We bring up our children, and they are brought up in this uncaring system, and it will bring up more uncaring people, and fear and control will become this planet's way eventually. We have to fight for this, for our future, for the true nature of empathy and love. What I'm feeling in me, humanity is feeling globally, and this is a very important message for us all. Never give up your will to be a sentient being. Never give up your will to feel. It can't be got back, and this is the danger we face. And we have to address it now, or future generations will live to regret our choices that we have made in this timeline. To choose advancement over empathy, care and love. It's not about holding back on our technological advancements, it's about being aware of what can be lost with a too fast a movement forward. Thank you for taking the time for listening.